What's up? This is Nick. Last night, I saw the film Sinister. It's this new overly hyped horror film that just came out that everyone's talking about. I honestly wasn't able to get into this film at all, you know? I love horror films. I'm a huge fan of them, you know? But they hyped the fact that this film would be like wicked, really scary, but you know, it really wasn't that scary though. I mean, it didn't put genuine fear inside of me, you know? Like, it more so used the element of surprise, you know, like making a loud noise, that like just that like surprise thing to kind of scare you. But, you know, walking away from this film, I didn't feel like the story could actually happen to me, kind of like in Jaws or Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you know? So, you know, that kind of took away from the whole thing, kind of. That's not the whole thing that but, I don't know, but I'm thinking of this from the top of my head, so, you know. But every time I found myself, you know, getting like involved in this movie, it would just pull me right back out like 2 minutes later, just, you know, because of the complete utter lack of continuity and just total predictability, you know. The movie was so predictable. I knew 10 minutes into the film what was gonna happen, and you just sit there for an hour and a half waiting for it to unfold, and then when it finally does unfold, you know, nothing really happens. It just comes to a sudden end. Like, you know, okay, let's go into the story now. The film opens with a family moving into a house where someone has been killed in the past. You know, like, that hasn't been done a million times, you know. It's just like Amityville horror, you know. You know, that's such an overplayed premise, you know. Like, that hasn't been done time and time again. And of course, one of the kids, you know, has this weird oddity that, you know, just picks up on the vibes instantly. The husband is a writer. I have no idea what the wife is. She's pretty much just there to add more tension to the situation. So the husband finds some film that documents the crime that he's writing about, that occurs in the house. Like how did it get there? Who knows? But so he watches the videos until he finally notices that he finally notices a character and a symbol that repeat in each video. So he talks to some college professor guy who's probably the most interesting character in the whole movie. He tells him that it's some old ancient god who doesn't exist, and how it's some initiation, and meanwhile, in every video, one person from each family isn't present. So it's an obvious foreshadowing of who committed the crimes. It's the children. It's the children themselves. Now, of course, when you watch the video, it released the spirit of this demon god thing or whatever. The movie then is just an hour straight of them having random situations with this spirit thing. You know, or just having kids, like, interfere, you know, by randomly popping up, giving us a little startle. But after 2 minutes of this, it becomes very obvious what's gonna happen next in just about every scene. Then when they finally let the story play out, of course, then it gets too much, and they all run back to their old hometown. And conveniently, as soon as they get there, they discover that every family who's been killed lived at the house of a previous murder. This part is, I guess, a unique twist, but now what you knew was going to happen is confirmed. The youngest daughter kills the family, then gets sucked into the movie reel, which gets left in a box for the next family to find. You know, it just wasn't that good of a movie, in my opinion, okay? You know, because one thing that really scares me about scary movies is when it's something that could actually happen to anyone in any situation. And I left this movie knowing that no one had ever been murdered in my house, and I didn't have any fear of ever running across a random demon in my life. You know, I didn't really take this movie with me after I watched it, you know? Yeah, that's usually when the scary factor really kicks in, you know, is after you finish watching it. But, you know, it just didn't do it for me, you know? But, you know, although the story was semi-unique in the overall premise, the elements within it were recycled and way too common. It made it really predictable. You know, between this and the errors in continuity, I could never really get drawn into it for more than a few minutes. So that's my review of Sinister. It's really cliche, and out of 5 stars, I give it about 1.5. But that's my opinion, so I'll see you later.